Here we go again. Mid-run. Needed to get out. Needed to do something. So we're in a month into Beau's life and starting to get that hunger of needing to do something. Like quite bad. Feeling more settled. I feel like I've got a little bit more handle on things. Pray to Jesus Christ that things keep kind of settling, and I just pray to Jesus that there is no random upsets. But I started getting into that mindset of like not doing anything, getting in a bit of a rut, and looking at past times when I've been in a little bit of the same mindset. One thing that I know really quite affects me is diet. So I tried. It's no coincidence that I'm getting a bit self-conscious about my weight at the minute. It's no coincidence that when I start dieting again, like it always does when I went on the keto diet, the lack of carbs does really affect my outlook on life. I kind of need a bit of carbs to get the engines going. Must be something to do with cortisol or something like that, if I'm gonna hazard a guess, but I definitely feel the effects. So I had natural carbs in rice and like a kind of a Lloyd Grossman bolognese, but that doesn't matter. I feel a bit better after that. But one thing that really does help when you're feeling a bit shit is just go for a walk with no headphones and just let the blood flow. You can then process things. Doesn't matter how much of a rut that you think you're in, you can then come up with plans. And if you come up with a plan, you've got something to focus on, and then you feel a bit less like a loser in a sense. And then not only have you got to have the plan, you've got to actually act upon the plan, and you will not have motivation at the start. Motivation comes with actually action. So right now I was not motivated to go for a run, but there's a few things that I want to do. So there's this. I want to make sure I get in a habit with this, talking for Speak James, so I can log things for Beau essentially, and maybe if I want to look back on it at later in my life and see where I was at and what was going through and how I dealt with certain problems. So there's that. And I want to get back into shape, so I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone. So I went for a run, and halfway through my run now I'm switching to walking, still burning the calories, still at I've eaten about 1,200 calories today so far, but I have been eating seriously like 3,000 to 4,000 calories a day for the last month since Beau was born. Before Beau, I was too stressed, I couldn't eat anything. So afterwards I just turned into a vacuum. I'm not even kidding when there was days where it's beyond a joke. Like I would see off a whole loaf, if that's even the right word, pack of pain au chocolat or chocolate brioche, like the Morrison's one. It's got about 12 of them in. See off one of those, have a takeaway that would be like a curry, that would be naan bread, chapatis, 4 poppadoms, one chutney, chips, madras, literally the whole fucking shebang. And it was kind of almost, because now and again I get in these kind of rut things where I think it's a spiritual problem. It's almost like an addiction, like I've got an addictive personality. It runs in the family. When it's good addiction, Like, you can get addicted to good things, it's real fucking good. You get addicted to bad things, it's real fucking bad. Hence why I don't drink alcohol, hence why I don't do drugs, hence why I am, there's certain vices that I am dead on trying to limit. Obviously you relapse now and again. I've never gambled because I know I would get addicted to it. I intentionally got myself addicted to coffee, but yeah, so when I get in these little ruts, I just eat over the top and it ain't good. So I've got to the point that, like, what usually happens is I sink to a low enough level where it, like, if you imagine a graph, okay, on both positive and negative ends, I get to a point where I'm like, okay, this is enough. Like, okay, I've just eaten way too much for too long. I feel like shit, I need to do something, and then it'll spur me into action. Or sometimes on the positive end, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing really well. I can take my foot off the gas a little bit, and then I end up fucking going straight back down into the rut. Until that is going too far. It's literally like an up and down the cycle of life. If you look into Hermeticism and look into like the pendulum swings of life, it is a larger kind of thing that is at play. You've just got to be the pawn rather than the person being played on the chessboard. You've got to actually, sorry, the wrong way around. Instead of being the chessboard, the pawn on the chessboard, you've got to be the chess player and understand these cycles and use them to your advantage. So there's things that I'm trying to do right now that are also bugging me. Is monetarily, I'm thinking about trying to earn some dollar so I can essentially support Bo more, but I'm trying to not let it be like an egotistical thing at the minute. So it's all about me trying to not get too greedy, which is what happens now and again if I let myself. But there's freedom that I do want for my own life for sure, but I'm working on trying to figure out how to balance the need and the want for freedom, okay, and the need and the want to not get too greedy and being too narcissistic and too because I do that. I get too greedy, get too narcissistic, and think, yeah, this is it, and then I hit the spike on the graph, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't need to do anything. And I've learned that it needs to be steady ship, change in direction, 1 degree, just get in the habits. It's all about changing the habits. So I think the next thing that, like, when I'm on my own, I get, like, these walks, I do get gut feelings, and those gut feelings I've been taught by my father, who is a successful man, and God as well, who is obviously the creator of the universe. And just through life, God speaks to you, and if you follow your gut, and if you ignore your gut, you get punished. If you follow your gut, as if you're in a calm space when that gut is speaking to you, because you don't want to be listening to the gut when you're angry or frustrated. But if you're listening to your gut when you're out on a walk, you've processed trauma, you're in a calm spot, there's nothing that's making you competitive, nothing that's making you pissed off at someone else, there's nothing that's making you feel guilty. If you're in a calm space, you get good signals, okay? And the good signal that I've had, that I have been working on, but I got to a point of struggle right at the same time as being massively anxious about the pregnancy, with this project I'm working on called Heat Shock, and it's still my path forward. I would like to end up earning, I've had to think about this again because I don't know if I'm getting egotistical, but so currently my wage is 50,000, okay, pounds a year. I want to get past the 6-figure mark, and ultimately I want to get to 300,000. Okay, now I've had to dig deep and look into a lot of like successful people who have made it already, and you know, my inspirations are people like who have actually done it, you know, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Rogan, like Conor McGregor. Weirdly enough, he's just come to mind. But what they say is, like, if you've got a goal, like, you've got to speak it out into the universe, and it gets the momentum going. So that is my goal. Ultimately, I would like to earn 300,000 solely from a outlet that is separate from my current job. Okay, and you know, this is me where I get egotistical a little bit, but you know, if I look at other people and I see how it works, I see how you are able to make that money, and essentially a lot of it is from selling. You know, like if you're selling, or if you have subscribers that are paying you a monthly thing, and you don't need that many. You really don't need that many. If you think about how many people are in the world, how many content creators are actually, so like, it looks as if, you know, it's really hard, obviously, to get successful on YouTube and things like that. But then you look at how many people on the planet are there, how many people have actually taken a phone and recorded themselves and tried to actually create some content, like how many in the world, and what percentage of the world have done it. So just by, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So just by not doing stuff, you are already missing. So, like, if you think about it, to earn 300,000, let's just say you're selling something that's worth £1,000 a pop. You need to sell 300. Forget tax, forget running costs. Okay, let's just do purely crude basic maths. Okay, and then you look at Elon Musk. I've seen his tweet recently, or I don't know if it's recent, but it really made me think, because I was relying a lot on the market to go up, and you got no control over the market. I've learned a lot about assessing markets, reading charts, which I'm sure in the long run, when I want to assess a market, I can assess a market. But when it comes to massively risky markets, I can still fuck up. And, you know, is it easier me selling 300 things worth 1,000, or, you know, divide it however you want, whether I'm selling something that is more mass, selling something more en masse that's worth like 50 quid, you know, you do the maths and you can break it down and you can see how much you need to be selling per month and per day. And then when you get it down to the day level, all of a sudden you're like, ah, shit, this is semi-realistic. Okay, like, as of right now, I'm not asking to be like the next Jeff Bezos. As of right now, I just want to send my daughter to private school when she gets to 4. I just want to and not just my daughter, but if I have multiple children, I would like to send them to private school. I'd like to be able to afford the best, like, tutoring, the best sports coaches, the best areas to live in for them, so they have the best upbringing that I can provide. Okay, and also one thing that I've not mentioned is that my fiance, my children's mum, is American. Okay, but so she's dual citizen. She's American English. She's got both. She's kind of won the jackpot. Her dad was American military. Her mum English down south, and yes, she's ended up with a dual citizenship. But she left America. She left America before she was 6, and so I think she's lived 6 years in America, but there has to be 2 years living over the age of 14 for her child to then be able to register as an American citizen. So I'm looking at the state of the world right now, and the state of England, and I want fucking out of this place. As much as I love it, and my heritage is here, and I've descended from people who settled here, whether peacefully or violently, in the 900s. So you can work out where I've come from with that little bit of history in the north of England. You see the ship analogy again. So when England and America first kind of ventured off from each other, maybe they were a little bit similar in terms of persons, obviously not the governmental system, and rights, obviously not. That's the change that has changed the path of the two countries. They may have started off vaguely similar in terms of culture, language, and all that kind of stuff, DNA European and African, and obviously with its problems. But now you see they're starting to grow apart in the distance, as they are, like the likelihood, the similarity between them is starting to get more and more and more vast. And as an Englishman, I can fully accept the Americans have got it fucking right. We have it wrong. It's just like as simple as that. There is no two ways about it. You compare the societies, you see like what happens in US politics. There is no possible chance that could happen really in England, because of the way our governmental system works, and it's rotted to its core. Like, you see what is happening in America right now to try and stop that rot with the Doge from Elon and all that kind of stuff. Would that happen in England? Fucking no way would it happen in England, because every single person is essentially what Doge is unfolding is what it is like in England too. Okay, that same level of corruption. Don't get me started with the European Union. It's the same fucking shit. Even that's even worse than England and the UK. It's even worse because you can't even have a direct vote as to who is essentially the president of that thing, whatever that bureaucratic thing is. Whereas in America, look at what's happened. The results speak for themselves. Judge them by their fruits, okay? Judge them by the fruits. The fruits of England are rotten and taste of shit. And the fruits of that country over the pond look mighty tasty right now. And Yaz is American. She actually is American. Like, she was born there. She was born Key West. And why? Like, is she not? Why are we not taking that opportunity? She is American. Why are we here? The only reason why we're here is because I'm English. And Beau is also English. But if we lived over in America for 2 more years at this point, Beau all of a sudden becomes American, which she is genetically, because her granddad is American. Her whole grandparents' side of the family is American. It's a better future for her to be over there. But You know, how do you get to a place if you're like, let's say I'm kind of the breadwinner, okay, reliant on a job in England. Hence why heat shock or doing something online where I'm just selling things and it gives you that freedom. Also, if I want to have more kids, you look at how it's here's a bit of a pro of being in England is honestly the healthcare system. I used to fucking slate it 24/7 because it is poorly managed. It's piss poor management. It's classic governmental corruption on the high levels, not on the low levels. The workers are fantastic, absolutely fantastic, especially the midwives. I honestly, they're amazing. Like, they're so nice and knowledgeable, caring, because they're all like let's say 20 to 30-year-old women with that maternal instinct who have been brought up just in a good way, and they're like empathetic, and you know, if you're worried about something, they know how to reassure you, they know how to get the tests done. And even during pregnancy, the amount, like, if I was to think about how much it would cost in America to get the services that we received, it would have been, Lord knows, 100,000. Sure, it might be covered by insurance, but I work in insurance, I know what policies are like. There will be stipulations like, we cover up to 80% of the cost of X and Y and Z. And if your, you know, if your bill comes to 150,000 and it covers 80% of it, do the fucking maths. You still got to pay a good wad. You've still got to pay a good fucking wad. What, 30 grand? Something like that. 20% of 150, 30 grand. You know, just the aftercare alone, the C-section, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh shit, I get it. I think because I'm, you know, thank the Lord, relatively healthy and not had to rely too much on healthcare. I've seen it like through family members, but it doesn't really hit you until you have to go for the healthcare, and then you realize how much this would cost in America. But having said that, you know, it's the place to be. It is the place to be. The answer is just, you like, go out there, get the dollar, you know, and be able to provide what is needed. Get the right insurance, you know, essentially it all comes down to money in America, but like that survival of the fittest attitude and the survival of the fittest environment is good in a sense, because there is no limit to what you can achieve. There is no limit. I'm not gonna be the Englishman judging American way of life, because first of all, I actually like it probably better than here, and also I know how fucking sensitive a lot of them are as well. Like I've had my fair share of encounters when I was like a young lad, maybe just going to university and just being exposed to new ideas, and not really fully being exposed to the ideas before, which means you don't fully understand it, and then you don't really get a full picture of the other side's argument, and then coming across me just being a fucking lad brought up in England, not fully understanding why you would want to own a gun, for example, coming across a guy who is a vehement gun owner. I forget which amendment it is, it's the Second Amendment. A vehement gun owner, and like kind of educating me as to why, and it didn't really fully hit me as to why until recently, again, the birth of the daughter, thinking, you know, if you don't have a way to protect yourself and a lunatic comes into your house with a machete or something worse, what are you going to do with your fucking fisticuffs? Do you really think you're just going to go up and spark them out? You think that's how it's going to go? No, what is going to happen is you're going to get fucking beheaded. And your Lord knows what will happen to your wife and kids, and your assets will have been stolen, you know? So you kind of see why you would want to own just a defensive weapon that will be able to do the job. Also, when it comes to I get the whole government totalitarian thing, also just on a military level, like imagine invading a country with 300 million people who are all locked and fucking loaded. You know, there's militias that can be like formed. You know, if let's say China, or fuck knows, name your country, name the country that you think is most likely. That was just a random one that I picked because I've been brainwashed to think that. So I take that back on that country, but name a country of your choice that has a population, say, of 100 million plus, with an army of 1 million plus. If they invaded England, there's 50 to 60 million sitting ducks with a kitchen knife. You know, you've got a kitchen knife, that's what you've got to defend yourself. And these sound like totally unlikely scenarios, but what if they happen? What if there is a totalitarian government that puts, like, you know, martial law in place, and it's like the worst type of, okay, whatever type of politics that you dislike, imagine it's that is being forced upon you in a totalitarian way, whether you're right wing or left wing, it doesn't matter. The opposition, what if the opposition that you hate becomes so extreme and forces everyone against their own will through military practice to act certain ways, okay, and they're weaponized and you're not? So here's my just rant that's randomly turned into American politics from areas in which I would like the freedom to move to raise bow in a better environment, you know? But anyway, there's a lot of planning to do and a lot of getting back into momentum. You know, the momentum is the hard part, because at the start you've got no motivation to do so. You've just got to do it, and then the motivation comes once you've done it. It's like that weird thing, like everyone thinks, oh, to start something I need divine inspiration to get the energy to do something, and then the habit will form. No, it's the wrong way around. You need to start the habit, and then the motivation will come. Okay, I'm signing out for the day. Catch you tomorrow.